channel. This is Amber's World. If you are new here, welcome. I'm so glad that you're here. I'm so glad that you found me. And if you're already part of my family and you have already subscribed to this channel, well, welcome back. Today, I bring you another episode of the Black Heroes and Sheroes of Today interview series. This next guest is just honestly, once again, one of the coolest people I've ever met. He is so down to earth, but he is also a titan in the education world. And I'm so excited for you guys to hear his personal story through his academic journey and how he grew within his academic journey. I feel like me and him vibe on kind of the same way because I too had to learn how to be a student like him. You might notice that in the last episode, I had the wonderful honor of interviewing his wife, and today I present to you the Darryl Stanbrough.
Where are you from?
I was born and raised in Detroit, Michigan, and off of 7 Mile and Telegraph. 7 Telly is what we used to call that place.
As a man from the D, could you tell us a little bit about your academic background?
I was afforded the opportunity to go to Benedictine, graduated from Benedictine, and then I went to Oakland Community College as a non-traditional student because when everybody was going away, I was not academically prepared for the rigors of a 4-year institution. So I graduated, I went to Oakland Community College. I graduated from Oakland Community College. I transferred to Clark, Atlanta. Ended up coming home and I went to Eastern Michigan. I graduated from Eastern Michigan with a degree in history and philosophy. I worked as a teacher for a little while, then a sub. Then I went to Marygrove and I got a master's in education and a teacher certification in history or social studies.
Okay, all right. And so with all that wonderful education in your, what's the word, in your holster, can you tell me how, yes, in your wheelhouse, could you please tell us, about your career path?
So I was working at an auto insurance place at the time I was getting my degree, right? So because I transferred so much and I wasn't necessarily, I was trying to get my school together and ended up graduating. And so I wanted to be a teacher. So I graduated, I got my degree, not realizing that I needed a teacher certification. And I quit my job and I went to a school to be a substitute teacher. I passed out my resume to all these schools thinking I'm going to be a teacher, like hanging with Mr. Cooper or Steve Harvey show, like I thought that's what it was. That's not what it was. So I quit the job and went to the school who called me saying that I could be a sub there. And they said, we never called you. So I started teaching as an emergency substitute in a regular position, right? At an alternative school. I walked in, I had my suit on, and I heard this young lady screaming profanity at a teacher because this was the first time alternative schools have been implemented in Detroit. Well, this first experience that I've had. So I got nervous and I was like, oh my God, I don't know what I'm gonna do. So anyway, I needed a job because I quit my other one, started teaching here as an English teacher. ESRP, that's what they call them. So I worked there, and after I got acclimated, it was pretty cool. So I thought I would be a great teacher. But in the state of Michigan, you have to have a certification. And this was at the time where No Child Left Behind was being implemented. So in order to teach as a regular teacher, you had to have a teacher certification. I ended up, what did I do? I was teaching as a sub in different places, and then I ended up getting my master's degree. Or I ended up going back to school to get my master's because they won't contract you unless you have a teacher certification. So with the program at Mary Grove College, you could get a teacher certification and a master's degree at the same time. So that's when I got that ball rolling, and I felt like I'm about to save the world. So I worked as a teacher at a high school, alternative high school, life skills. And I was also working as a tutor / adjunct faculty at Oakland Community College.
So I want to, first of all, before I go further, I want to give you your ups, because, you know, to be Black and to be male and to be out here teaching is so, so important. It's this big question that's trending right now, asking people, when did you first have your first Black male teacher, if you ever had one? And my first Black male teacher was in the 2nd grade. I was lucky to say that I had that experience early, but ever since then, I mean, I would have to really think. And the latest one that I can remember is a theater teacher I had at Eastern Michigan. So they're very, I wouldn't say they're rare, but just, especially in the state of Michigan, I don't feel like there's a lot of Black male teachers, professors, people out here, you know, in the academic realm. And so my next question to you would be, you know, what inspired you to want to teach?
I wanted to be what I didn't have. So like you, I remember having one Black teacher. He was a math teacher. Of course, you have a plethora of females, you know, white and Black and other, but I remember one Black male math teacher that I had, and I didn't appreciate what I had when I had him because I wasn't the best student. So I think, you know, I hear of really great relationships with young women and teachers, women teachers and young women who have teachers or who work together, and their relationships continue on and on and on. So I'm like, dang, I want to be able to have what some of them had. And so I just wanted to be, I just want to show that it's possible to be an academician as a Black male, because rarely do we see them. And when we see them, they use a language that's so dense that a lot of people can't relate to it. So what I read this book called The Miseducation of the Negro by Carter G. Woodson. And his objective, being a doctor, was to get this higher education and bring it to the people and disseminate it in a language that they can understand. And so that's kind of what I wanted to do. I wanted to be smart and intellectual and articulate, but at the same time, I wanted people to be able to relate to me and understand what I was saying and be able to use what I have, or be able to share what I have so that they can use it and apply it in the places where they feel like they needed to apply it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, so let's take it back a little bit and explore your academic journey, because I feel like I can relate to you in a few ways, but I'll let you go ahead and tell your story. So kind of break it. When you say that you weren't the best student, go ahead and lay it out for us, you know, as best as you can. I welcome all transparency in this series, because it's important for the kids to realize that not everything is perfect and not everything is peachy, and we all grow in our own way, at our own time, at our own pace. That's so right. if you could just tell your story, say it like you mean it, let us know what your academic journey was really like.
Okay, so like I said, I went to Benedictine. That's a parochial school, but and then we had some, you know, honors. I did actually place into an honors class while I was there, but for the most part, my classes were remediated while I was at Benedictine. And it wasn't because I was slow or special, it was because I didn't take school seriously. I didn't realize how seriously I should take it, right? So it's whatever. You can show up and get a C, right? So the a part of me going to Open Community College was because I didn't, I played football there, I played baseball, but I didn't get accepted to any place. I wasn't a stellar athlete either. I was just an athlete. And I thought, well, maybe some school, I don't know if you ever seen Waterboy, but it was a school like the school Waterboy went to that accepted me to play football. And I was like, I'm not even going to risk that. So I ended up going to Open Community College. I hobbled along. And there were a few things that stood out to me, but one professor gave this assessment on your reading level, right? And my reading level I want to say that might have been my second year, maybe 18 months, 3 semesters. And my reading level was super duper low, like 9th grade, 10th grade, some, reading comprehension. It was not what it should have been for me to be a second year college student. But it was whatever, laugh it off. Ended up graduating. I got accepted to Clark. And there was a word on the Martin Luther King monument because they took us on a tour when I was at Clark, Atlanta. And I couldn't pronounce the word. And the tour guy who was a student at Clark totally embarrassed me. Like, I can't believe they let you in the Clark Atlanta University. I mean, she was clowning. And I was embarrassed, of course. I'm like, maybe she's right. Because, I mean, it couldn't have been that bad because I got accepted. But at the same time, my vocabulary, I didn't have the vocabulary because Clark Atlanta is almost like a satellite school. You got people from California, from Virginia, from Texas, from Iowa. And these are stellar, like they could go to Harvard, but they chose Black college. And I'm just I'm like 19 or 20, transfer, hood. As you think about the hood person, that's what I am. Like I was still living in the city, still partaking in urban activities, and I got accepted to Clark Atlanta. So I'm down there. And of course, I did end up coming back home because you tend to attract people who are like you. The projects is right there. Come on, man. I'm kicking it with the project people, So anyway, I didn't have bad grades down there, but I was not mature enough to matriculate, if you will, right? So Came back, got into Eastern. I was not ready for Eastern because, like I said, I'm 21, 22, I think, maybe 20, I'm gonna say 21. At Eastern with sophomore credits, right? Because I went to 2 schools, some credits didn't transfer, blah, blah, blah. So come back, Detroit is only 30, 45 minutes away. You got people from Flint, got people from Saginaw, you got people who are not intellectually astute, but they there, and I'm like them. So that's who I'm with. That's my crowd. And I ended up getting put out for Eastern first time. So I'm like ecstatic. Like, oh my God, I didn't come up here to get kicked out of school. So I get kicked out of Eastern. Called my mom, I was crying. She was like, you wasn't crying when you was doing whatever you was doing, was you? So you need to figure it out. So ended up getting back in. And I still wasn't ready. So the second time I got put out, it was like, you can't come back for 10 years. And tell me about it. That's exactly what I said when I opened that letter. So I was like, there's no way this is going to be my truth. And I did sit out a semester, and I went to Washtenaw Community College. Oh, that's another school I attended. I went to Washtenaw, got my grades up. I got letters. People vouched for my character. I got back in, got through, and I ended up graduating. And that was probably the most pivotal point. That was probably the most pivotal point that I've in my life. Graduating with my undergraduate. And as you know, you got doctors out here. Oh, I'm a doctor. Oh, I got my master. Oh, I'm a CPA. Oh, I'm a lawyer. Let me tell you something. That undergrad degree was more than a notion for me because I had to catch up.
Yeah.
Just to be at the same level with these 17, 18, 19-year-olds. I'm 22, 23, 24. I think I was 25 when I graduated, or 26.
Yeah.
But it is what it is because they don't ask you when you start. They ask you when you finish. Or they don't ask you when you finish. They ask you, do you got your degree? And I got mine. I got 3 of them actually. So
because you proved something to yourself, that degree weighs so much more. It's so much more than just an undergrad degree. Mm-hmm. And so now that we're on the other side, right? We learned a few things. You know what I'm saying? We have our stripes. We have now started a literacy initiative called the Zuri Reads Initiative.
Awesome sauce. That's right.
I have asked your when I interviewed your lovely wife, she's given me her side of the story, but can you tell me your side of the story and how the Zuri Reads Initiative has came to be and what's it about? Because the audience, they need to know. They need to know what you're doing out here.
So when we first started it was about family, right? So it's called family. We started family literacy night, and we had an opportunity to use a space at the University of Michigan Detroit Center, right? So what we would do was ask people for books, and we would ask our colleagues and friends to come in and work with the kids. And the idea was to, enrich our family with the benefits of literacy, right? Mm-hmm. And so we did that for a year. Man, I think it might have been a year and some change, but we were able to work down at the University of Michigan Center, and then we are at the library. So the library, the Redford Branch Library, where Redford High School used to be, and get pizza. We get games, academic games, math games, and we play chess, checkers, things that, some of the stuff you could get at school, but you're not getting with your family. We're family, and so anybody who is anybody can bring their kids out and kick it with us, right? Mm-hmm. So ideally, we pass out books. Like, we pass out books to encourage people to read. So at the Health Alliance Plan, they have a fun day during the summer. We pass out books there in their Pontiac and Detroit locations. And the idea is to get people to want to read, because I think that's one of the biggest barriers that our community faces. Like, they don't think it's important to be able to read. Like, and then you think what perpetuates not having to read is Instagram. Like, it's pictures. You ain't gotta do nothing but take a picture. So what is there to perpetuate literacy and being able to articulate your thoughts and being able to synthesize information and the application of new information? And so we try to give those open-ended, challenging questions to our own family. Like, we have, I don't want to say debates, but we have heated discussions. Okay. Is that a good way to put it? You can call it a debate. We have differences of opinion on some of the same subjects. And we get some of everybody to come down there. Like, a couple of my fraternity brothers come down there, kick it with the kids. Family, cousins, aunties, uncles. Oh man, it's awesome. Awesome sauce.
It's Black History Month. And I had the wonderful pleasure of hearing Precious Zuri's favorite Black history icon. And I also got to hear your wife's favorite Black history icon. So now I'm going to ask you, who is your favorite Black history icon and why?
Favorite, the ancestors, anybody who sacrificed for us to have this conversation.
The whole echelon.
Hey, listen, their spirits are dwelling within us and around us. They're protecting us. So that first and foremost, I am a big fan of Black Panther Party, self-defense, and what they did for the community. Of course, Bobby Seale, Huey P. Newton, Fred Hampton, the chairman, Angela Davis, Erica Huggins, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King. You know, I mean, these are martyrs, right?
Right.
We talk about Dr. King, he was 39 when he got killed, martyr. Malcolm X, 38 when he got killed, martyr. So they sacrificed, and the understanding, however, the story is told, the bottom line is they were here one day and they were gone the next. And I think what needs to be taken into consideration is they died for us to live.
Man, that's it. We can end the interview right there. But before we go, we have to do the rapid fire round.
All right.
So you already know what it is. If you had to choose, what you gonna choose? Are you gonna choose collard greens or are you gonna choose cornbread?
If the collard green, I'm going. If the collard greens is cooked with turkey necks, I'm going with the collard greens because the juice and the flavor. I'm not going. You could get full off collard greens.
Favorite Afrocentric hairstyle: cornrows or Bantu knots?
I like cornrows.
Okay.
You know, I mean, the Bantu knots is cool. I like anything that's black hair. Like, I'm not a perm kind of guy. So whatever you got that's not straight,
black it up. Kunta Kinte, take me, please.
Everybody here can't just stand up.
No soul glow over here. No soul glow over here. No. It's all pics. It's all pics and beads over here.
Say less.
Yes. Okay. Are you gonna go? And you see, you can tell I'm probably hungry because of these food questions. But look, food is very important in the Black community. Okay.
It is.
So, are you gonna go to the barbecue, or are you gonna go to the seafood boil?
Oh boy. So what I'm thinking about is, in addition to the food, who gonna be there at either or? I'll probably have more fun at a barbecue because, you know, when you get into the seafood boil, everybody not invited to that because of the price. Right. Whereas if I go to the barbecue, I'm playing spades, I'm gonna have me a beer or two, we gonna play some dominoes. So I'll probably, and I only eat chicken, I'm not eating no pork, but I will partake in the barbecue. It's gonna be outside this summertime.
Yeah, I love that you also put into consideration the Black experience attached to each occasion, because they are very different occasions. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, you're gonna have a little bit more people at the barbecue smacking their fingers and you know, doing the dozens and stuff. Yeah, so yeah. Well, Mr. Stanbrough, this has been a moment. Thank you. Don't make me
cry. I'm not crying. I appreciate the opportunity.
So great. It has been an honor and a privilege. I cannot believe that I just had a full-blown interview with you. Like, you don't understand. You are like so cool to me. Okay. Like, you really are like one of the coolest to ever cool.
Oh my goodness. Ice Cube.
So, I really appreciate you, you know, doing the thing and telling your story. And this has just been so amazing and definitely one of the Blackest interviews that I think I'll ever have.
I'm on it. That's what I'm on.